Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a game between Colorful versus ZDR here on, I believe this is Last Refuge 1.3. Now, I originally wanted to cast this as a bonus game or an anti-spoiler game yesterday, but I felt like I was getting a little bit too tired. And since this game was so highly rated, I really didn't want to spoil it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening here. We see Colorful spawning as the purple Night Elf player here on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, ZDR spawning as the orange Orc. Orc versus Night Elf, so I am expecting Druids of the Talon coming in from the Night Elf player. Meanwhile, the standard gambit of Raiders, Kodo Beasts, and all sorts of goodness coming in from the Orc. Now, some people once asked me, why are Druids of the Talon just so strong in the matchup? Well, the reason why the Druids of the Talon are so strong is it has such a good ability to shut down priority targets, such as the Blade Master. The Blade Master, if you can constantly cyclone him up in the air, well, he's not doing that crazy amount of damage. Now, we are going to be going into a Demon Hunter versus a Blade Master matchup as things do get underway, and we are constructing barracks off over here. This is nothing all too surprising at this point, as things are now getting underway. So far, a Wisp now making its way off to the north. Meanwhile, you can see a Peon making its way down to the south to do a little bit of scouting. And I'm not exactly sure why people are pinging the map. That's actually a little bit distracting. Hopefully, it doesn't get in the way later on. We are going into Ancient of War creeping by Colorful. Colorful really not reinventing the book here at all, just going after the creep camps, this 3-3-3 creep camp. Meanwhile, I believe the Blade Master will be coming out here in just a moment and clearing out this creep camp as well. Wisp doing a good job hiding in plain sight. He will figure out when the Blade Master is coming down this road here, as the Demon Hunter now getting into position. It looks as though the Demon Hunter not even bothering. It cleared out the Ogre, picked up the item, and is now letting the Archer finish the rest of the job. This is really important, as the Demon Hunter is now making his way out across the map. You're going to see him gain experience while taking down this Peon. And this is actually really important here, as the Demon Hunter is now in a much better position. And now we are going to see that poor Peon take a little bit of an axe or a club to the head, as he now makes his way back off to the north. Ancient of War here, rather damaged, is going to be able to eat up some trees, as we are now looking to see what this Demon Hunter is going to be doing. Demon Hunter is now inside here, and it looks like at any point he could tech Immolation. Demon Hunter now trying to get some damage onto those peons there, and what exactly is happening? He's trying to go after the Orc Burrow, and the Orc Burrow is actually in danger. Blade Master comes in with a Windwalk Strike, but it looks like the Orc Burrow will be forced to get cancelled, yes, or destroyed, and now ZDR is a little bit behind, losing an Orc Burrow early. Now, that is perhaps the weakest link in the Orc army. Those Orc Burrows are very expensive buildings, and they're relatively easy to take down. Those Orc Burrows, as they're being constructed, as you know, or once they are already constructed, only have heavy or light armor depending on their state. Meaning that unlike farms, unlike Moonwells, unlike Ziggurats, they take full damage from heroes. With that, you can try and shut down a hero pretty easily, as this Demon Hunter really running in here rather quickly, try to get in some extra damage. Is he going to be able to perhaps get off another mana burn? I don't believe so, as the Demon Hunter now trying to give chase. Alright, there's an ensnare onto that Grunt over there. He's not going to be able to get away at all, as the Demon Hunter now runs off to the north. Oh, what is this? A quick Windwalk Strike there. The Blade Master is still healing. Perhaps the Demon Hunter could have come in with a quick slash there to try to disrupt the healing, at least force his opponent to use another charge of that all-important healing salve. Blade Master now sitting at level 2. As more pinging still going on, not quite sure why. The Blade Master is actually in a little bit of a dangerous situation here, now opting to pull out of here as a Staff of Teleportation. Oh, the Demon Hunter now coming in. This could be really bad news here. The Grunt now trying to get away. Blade Master is there, and there is a beautiful block and path. Is the Demon Hunter gonna get that Grunt? That is very important. Down to 46 hit points. It looks like it's down to 14, and the Blade Master, is he gonna take down his own unit? No, as the Demon Hunter gets to level 2, a beautiful use of Staff of Teleportation in order to snipe down a Grunt, but now we see it going back the other way. early stages are just going back and forth here as the Demon Hunter actually double backs around. The Blade Master chasing now after this Archer. This Archer really wants to hide, but realizes that there is dust of appearance on that Blade Master. The Archer, even if it tries to Shadow Melt, oh, Beastmaster now coming back out, drops a Quill Beast, and now we are going into a bit of an engagement once more. That Blade Master now still chasing. Meanwhile, the Grunt going up against the Demon Hunter. Yes, there is a lot more hit points on that Grunt left, but the Demon Hunter has such high damage that the Grunt is going to be forced to retreat. Oh, a beautiful play there, as the Grunt now trying to make its way back around. All right, Demon Hunter now trying to run away. Demon Hunter now heading back off to the north. You can see him trying to run away from that Blade Master. Blade Master now pulling back here as the Demon Hunter is going to be running down. So far, early stages of this game have been very well played and very well thought out, very intense micro wars as we're going into the Spirit Lodge and the Bestiary. Spirit Lodge, obviously, for those Spirit Walkers, the all-important disenchant to try and disrupt that Cyclone. However, the problem with Cyclone, and Disenchant is that Disenchant actually costs a large amount of mana, and that's one of the things that Orc players generally have a problem with, the amount of mana it takes. It is not a very efficient way at all. Also, adding in that Fairy Fire removes the armor and also keeps track of that Blade Master constantly. So even if it wind walks, you can still figure out where it is going, as the Demon Hunter is still going after this Grunt. This Demon Hunter, however, in a little bit of a sticky situation, and oh, almost gets stuck himself, and a little bit of a head fake there, as the Demon Hunter now almost kind of stuck. Oh, this could be very bad. The Beastmaster needs to get over there. Yes, Staff of Preservation to save it, as the Tauren Chieftain now comes out with Endurance Aura. Endurance Aura makes a lot of sense for that Tauren Chieftain early on. Endurance Aura definitely helps out, as the Quill Beast does not get the last Quill into that Grunt. The Tauren Chieftain doesn't really need Shockwave until his opponent has really massed up a good amount of Druids of the Talon. So far, getting that Endurance Aura will increase the damage on that Blade Master, and the Blade Master sitting at level 2, even though it is such a low level, can still deal a fair amount of damage, especially with those lucky critical strikes and that +8 attack from items. Demon Hunter and Beastmaster now coming back around. Is the units going to be able to come back around here? It looks as though the Blade Master going to pick up perhaps an item or two. No, doesn't pick up anything. Just waiting here in the shadows. Aggro's the creep, and now the Ancient of War is actually in a little bit of trouble. There's that Fairy Fire onto that Blade Master. Blade Master losing a little bit of armor there, as the Ancient of War is going to be taking a lot of damage. That's no good there, as meanwhile, back off to the north, the Grunt trying to run away. Oh, and a beautiful surround here. Staff of Teleportation in order to get away. The Demon Hunter will be able to teleport back down over here, uses some Moonwells, and now going to rejoin that fight. Ancient of War has been taken down here, as the Blade Master suffers a lot of damage as well. Ancient of War was taken down earlier. As you remember, there is no Ancient of War in the base of the Night Elf any longer, which means that the only production buildings are those Ancients of Wind. Now, even though Druids of the Talon are very strong in this matchup, what we may need to see at least some other production building. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the opponent doesn't even bother rebuilding that Ancient of War and instead goes for Ancients of Lore and those Dryads. Coming back around, you can see the Tauren Chieftain still sitting at level 1, slowly creeping his way to level 2. He should be able to get to level 2 off of these 2 level 3 creeps, as the Blade Master may rejoin up and perhaps try to creep out more dangerous targets. Now, so far, no one has set up an expansion yet. And sometimes players may even try to set up a Tree of Life off over here and then walk in and creep out this orange creep camp, but we haven't seen that yet. Both of these players playing rather conservatively, as the Demon Hunter now looks to charge in here. Ogre Mauler going to be taking a bit of damage. There is that +5 armor, making it very difficult to take down. However, the Druids of the Talon do deal bonus damage to that medium armor. Ogre Magi going to be falling here, and yes, the Fairy Fire does kind of counteract, or really counteracts that there, as you see a Book of the Dead has been placed down. All right, Demon Hunter being very careful to pick that item up, making sure that that Demon Hunter does not shoplift anything. One Forest Troll High Priest. Oh, there is a wand, or there's an illusion. And are we going to see him chase down that illusion? No, he realizes it's an illusion and lets him back off. Forest Troll Berserker getting in a lot of piercing damage there. Druid of the Talon is sitting at mastery. We do not see that many Moonwells, though. And do we have upgraded Moonwells? We do not. So these Moonwells are going to be constantly empty. The one weakness of the Druid of the Talon strategy is the fact that it requires so much mana on all of your units, meaning that those Moonwells are often very dry. Blade Master down to 90, 85 hit points and 72, has to be extremely careful. 67. Running into the Blade Master now would absolutely be a nightmare. Not even sure what exactly the Blade Master is doing. Hiding off to the north. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 3 already picks up a healing ward. A very nice item, as the Blade Master should be running over in a hurry to get there. And let's take a look at what's happening next. The Raiders are regenerating hit points. That Raider is taking a fair bit of damage, and it gets taken down by creeps. I don't believe ZDR was actually paying attention there. You never want to lose any units to creeps whatsoever, as we now see that there is a Hawk in the air, lots of Druids of the Talon, so we are going to have plenty of Cyclone. All right, let's head off to the north. The Tauren Chieftain still healing up the rest of his units. ZDR looking very, very strong. Blade Master comes in as we see the Goblin Tinker as that all-important third hero. Goblin Tinker, a very, very beefy hero. Even though its primary attribute is intelligence, it still has 20 strength, meaning that he can take a fair bit of damage, and he has pretty good regeneration. Also, the Pocket Factories really really do a number on that Blade Master, as the Blade Master cannot walk past it. So when you're fighting in between buildings here, if the Blade Master ever gets stuck in a is stuck back here, all of a sudden one Pocket Factory and the units cannot engage. All right, what's happening here? The Blade Master tries to run through. It was revealed. Are we going to see Fairy Fire on it? Oh, there's another mana burn, and the Blade Master is now revealing himself to the entire army. Orc Peons now being brought into the army here, and exactly what you see is that those Orc Peons are going to be taking a lot of that damage. All right, Demon Hunter using a Potion of Invulnerability to try and negate getting surrounded. Here you go. There's a Disenchant. There's a Disenchant. There's the Cyclone, and Wand of Illusion. A beautiful, beautiful use of Wand of Illusion to make it difficult to figure out which hero is the real Tauren Chieftain. Now that actual Shockwave has come down onto the Demon Hunter, we are going to see that Scroll of Talent Portal being used, but it really burned through a lot of mana. That Tauren Chieftain Illusion 8, I believe, 2 Cyclones, and Cyclone is a rather mana-intensive ability, as I mentioned. All right, let's take a look at this. Goblin Tinker does have a Scroll of Healing. Beastmaster sitting at level 2, as we see that there is a Illusion Tauren Chieftain down over here. That Tree of Life is just going to be sitting there without any problem. All right, let's see what's going to be happening next. It looks like the Tauren Chieftain is just absorbing damage for no reason. There it is going to be dissipated, and these Druids of the Talon cannot go up against this orange creep camp because of the magic immune. All right, let's see. Fairy Dragons now being added into the air to try to counteract the spirit, the Spirit Walkers. And there you see the Blade Master and the Tauren Chieftain are now just up in the air. There's a little bit of Disenchant. There's the Pocket Factory, and here we go for an engagement. All right, Cyclone onto the main heroes. The Blade Master, the Blade Master was up in the air for just a moment. It does have Unholy Aura, so making it that much faster. And what is this Beastmaster doing? The Beastmaster is just constantly in a very, very bad spot. It's not going to be able to get away. Drops a Quill Beast and gets taken down. Cyclone now up on the Tauren Chieftain, as we are fighting in this very, very narrow walkway. This Tauren Chieftain is actually going to be in a very bad way, constantly getting cycloned out of position, as the Goblin Tinker may try to drop another Pocket Factory somewhere, but he's constantly getting ensnared as well. Blade Master, there is the Fairy Dragon up in the air. You have to be very careful with now your Disenchants, as we can see that the Demon Hunter is now just acting as a one-man army trying to constantly deal damage here. The Tauren Chieftain is now actually caught between a rock and a hard place, or a Pocket Factory and some trees. Not a very good spot at all, as we see the Scroll of Healing being used at the last moment. The Tinker is now going to fall down there. There he goes, as the Demon Hunter is still trying to engage. The Tauren Chieftain is actually caught on the wrong side of the field, and it looks as though the Tauren Chieftain is actually going to get surrounded by Druids of the Talon. All right, that's going to be actually really bad news here. The Tauren Chieftain does not have enough mana, and a level 4 Tauren Chieftain going to fall at the hands of a whole bunch of Druids of the Talon, giving level 4 to that Demon Hunter. Huge, huge turnaround there. Loss of a Beastmaster, loss of a Goblin Tinker, level 2, level 1, to take down a level 4 Tauren Chieftain. I'm not quite sure who has the advantage here. However, the Druids of the Talon are rather low. Oh, there's the Blade Master. It is currently revealed. And now with that hero up, oh, the Tauren Chieftain now currently using that, what is that healing ward to try to heal back up. And is it going to work? There it goes. Quickly focusing it down. The Demon Hunter now in a little bit of trouble. He may use a potion of healing. Yes, does use it. And does have a Scroll of Town portal. It looks like a Raider is going to get taken down. The Tauren Chieftain is now up in the air. There's Spirit Link. And the Blade, or the Demon Hunter, is still trying to survive this fight. It looks like it is going to have to get out of here as the Beastmaster does arrive. Beastmaster arrives just to get teleported all the way back home. But we see Colorful having that expansion, and that is going to... Yes, I see. Thank you very much. I see the expansion. Wow. But the expansion is not being mined. So Colorful has invested a lot of money into this location. But he's going to end up just giving free experience to his opponent. Demon Hunter now coming in for the engagement. It looks as though the Tree of Life isn't going to get repaired. Yes, it is going to be repaired. And in comes the Fairy Dragons. Are we going to see some Cyclone? This is actually what you don't want to see in an engagement, trying to run away from a Druid of the Talon army. The reason why? Well, you just end up getting picked up. All right, Demon Hunter now trying to run away. Is it Demon Hunter going to be able to get away? It looks as though it will, as we see the Tree of Life now getting repaired pretty much back up to half hit points here. All right, let's continue this fight here. Blade Master and Tauren Chieftain now up in the air. The rest of the army being forced to engage. There's an ensnare on the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter does have a potion of healing, and he quickly uses it as it was transferred from the Beastmaster. And there's a Staff of Preservation trying to save it. But now all of a sudden the Beastmaster is in a little bit of trouble. Is he going to try and back out of there? No, he is not. The Goblin Tinker is now going to get surrounded, and that's bad news. Goblin Tinker, a Beastmaster falls at level 2. Goblin Tinker now getting ensnared. You can see the Druids of the Talon just trying to fight their way through. Another ensnare going down as the Clockwork Goblins need to make their way out and actually deal some damage. Demon Hunter now back in this fight. It looks as though the Raider is actually going to end up falling, as the Orb of Venom is actually very, very strong. All right, Goblin Tinker now currently ensnared. Transfer a potion of healing and is healed once more. Tauren Chieftain down to 90 hit points. That could be very, very bad news. There's a Spirit Link on him. Tauren Chieftain very low, and the Demon Hunter gets his man again. Goblin Tinker now sitting at level 2. Tauren Chieftain falls for the second time at level 2 as the Blade Master is being picked up back into the air. Goblin Tinker now very low on hit points, getting surrounded and being picked apart by peons. There is another ensnare as the Blade Master gets his Goblin. All right. The Druids of the Talon now trying to make its way back over, and is the Blade Master going to get picked up again? Blade Master gets another mana burn in. This is not looking good. A lot of the units are very, very low on hit points. The Demon Hunter could easily just one-shot many of the units. The Blade Master constantly being picked up, and this is what I was mentioning earlier. There's a disenchant as the Demon Hunter now dangerously low on hit points. Is it going to be able to get to level 5 in time? It looks as though the Demon Hunter now needs to back off. It looks like, oh, what is going to happen? There goes the Blade Master, killing the Demon Hunter in the back. He was surviving for far so long, but the Blade Master must have been spamming Windwalk in order to not get Cyclone and picked back up. Druids of the Talon now pulling back off over here. It looks like one of them, oh, gonna get cycloned again. It looks like perhaps the Druids of the Talon just ran out of mana, ran out of gas, so to speak, and ended up falling. All right, Tree of Life engaging against some of the units here. Is it going to perhaps take down a peon? You can see that the Raiders were smart enough to not try and engage against this Tree of Life, as we see 34 supply against 47. ZDR pretty much ahead here, as we now see, oh, there is the Cyclone, and this is actually a very, very dangerous spot to be in. Oh, the Blade Master is going to get off a kill a Druid of Talon without a problem. There's a Staff of Teleportation, I believe, as there is the Cyclone. All right, Demon Hunter is now back again, but what is it doing? It is trying to engage against here, and there is a mana burn. All right, Demon Hunter dangerously low on hit points. What is going to be happening? The Demon Hunter, oh, the Blade Master with a 224 hit point critical strike takes down a Demon Hunter who had a potion of invulnerability. What a complete misjudgment by Colorful, as ZDR gets the kill. Wow. Gotta be careful against a Blade Master. Blade Master now sitting at level 6, does have Blade Storm available to him. And that was a complete miscalculation. That Demon Hunter was resurrected at the tavern. Yes, the tavern, I guess Colorful is just feeding experience to his opponent right now, constantly losing heroes, and that's what you can't be doing. The Beastmaster, excuse me, sitting at level 2 at this point, can't even get Dragon Hawks that can attack, or not Dragon Hawks, Hawks that can attack at all. It looks like ZDR is mounting up a major army, and this may be the final push, folks. This final push, it's really going to depend on how Colorful is able to fend off this attack. No clarity potion on that Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter perhaps wants to get a bit of mana, as you can see that the Beastmaster has a clarity potion, but at such a low level, it's not going to be able to do very much. It's going to come down to execution. This Blade Master does have some items, but it's not as overly powerful as you would expect. Here comes the engagement. Oh, trying to take the Rock Golem creep camp. That was a complete miscalculation there, as we see a Raider now coming in from the back. All right, we're going to see a little bit of a sandwich attack here. What's going on? What's happening? Oh, Spirit Link now being cast down as Blade Storm is going to melt through a whole bunch of Druids of the Talon if you are not careful. All right, that Demon Hunter pretty much using a potion of invulnerability just in time, as the Blade Master is now up in the air. Goblin Tinker now getting ensnared, and this is pretty much going to be it. Goblin Tinker is now down. Level 4 on that Tauren Chieftain. Still looking really strong. The Demon Hunter pretty much does not stand a chance here. Beastmaster finally gets to level 3 as he aggroes the creep. Oh, Staff of Preservation saves a very low hit point Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter, however, does not have that many Moonwells back at home to really heal back up. 43 supply compared to 40 supply. What's going on? How did all of a sudden the Night Elf have a larger army? Not quite sure, as you can now see a little bit of what the creeps actually going after the Druids of the Talon instead of going after the entire Orc army here. All right, what is happening next? Perhaps the Mana Flare actually aggroed, as you see the Beastmaster now in trouble. The Beastmaster very low on hit points. Are we going to see another ensnare? It looks as though it is going to get taken down, getting caught up on his own units. The Demon Hunter unable to save his friend, and now what is left? One Demon Hunter against the Orc army. Illidan cannot even stop this attack. This is just going to be too much. The Blade Master, the Tauren Chieftain, the GG's got to be coming in soon. Unless somehow we have a reverse all kill from that Demon Hunter. I cannot imagine it. There's the ensnare. There's the death. The GG's got to be coming in just a moment. And there it is. Demon Hunter falls way too often, and really the hero kills was what made the difference. Level 6, level 5 with 9 hero kills compared to level 2 hero kills, and that was that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this bonus game here on Saturday. And once again, I want to say thank you to everyone who's actually been donating on PayPal. There's actually a lot of hidden expenses that I didn't realize starting to cast. Talk to an attorney. Okay, yeah, this is for all of you guys who are hardcore and listen to me. Talk to some business attorneys, and they said that I really needed to set up a corporation just in case anyone decided to go after me, since I'm in between size. If I defamed any video game companies, they could actually come after me. So I had to make a corporation. And wow, the yearly fees in maintaining that is actually pretty high. I may actually be casting and losing money. So yeah, if you guys want to know more, let me. I'll post up a video and I'll actually answer those questions. But yeah, the yearly fees, between having to have faster internet to be able to upload everything and just all the equipment. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope WarCraft 4, if it ever comes out, I'm a big name. Otherwise, I am doing this because of the love of the game, and that is it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.